"I know something you don't know," was a favorite taunt of my sisters and mine when we were younger. It was a treat to learn something first, to know a secret that my sisters didn't. And I don't think we were alone, because I know many adults who still like to play this game. Except for they start sentences like, "Have you heard what happened yesterday? Do you know what happened to my neighbor down the street? I'm probably not supposed to tell you this, but..." We love being in the know, and we hate being left in the dark. There are few things more frustrating than walking into a meeting late because no one told you about a time change, or showing up somewhere and being the only person not wearing the right color or outfit because you missed a memo. Being out of the loop or not knowing what's going on makes us feel left out and unimportant, marginalized even. And this morning in our gospel text, it almost seems as if Jesus is taunting us with that childhood line, "I know something you don't know." And he does. He knows a lot that we don't know. And this can be infuriating, especially as people who feel we have the right to information. And then to top it off, the information Jesus does share with us doesn't sound all that great. Nation against nation, buildings being torn down, being brought before kings and governors, being hated for our faith. And to top it off, Jesus doesn't even tell us when this is coming. We just have to wait for the other shoe to drop. But he ends with a promise. "Not a hair of your head shall perish." We are quickly approaching the season of Advent, and this is very much an Advent-like text. You see, the season of Advent isn't all about preparing for the celebration of Christmas as much as we like to believe it is. But much of it is about understanding that we live every day in the season of Advent. A season of waiting for Christ to come again in the flesh, not again as a child in a manger, but as the King of Kings who will bring about a new heaven and a new earth. And today in Luke's gospel, Jesus speaks about this end of the age in vague terms, terms that can make us fearful or wonder if we have done enough. Sure, we all have things we would like to change and things we want to complain about, but when it comes down to it, most of us aren't really ready, or don't think that we're ready, or don't really want Jesus to come again to change everything that we know. And so we try to hold Jesus back. We try to figure out the timeline, to somehow be in control, to have the information about when he is coming. And when Jesus alludes to the fact that this time is ending, but that even he doesn't know when it is, we get a little miffed sometimes. So miffed that we overlook the promise, which is really at the heart of this passage. "Not a hair on your head shall perish." We focus instead on the pestilence and the battles, on the things gone wrong, on the fingers we can point, instead of on the promise that Christ made to you in your baptism and that he promises to keep now and forevermore. And with this promise, Jesus has laid out what life looks like. As followers of Christ, we know that life is not always a piece of cake or a walk in the park. Life is often a struggle. Whether it is an unfavorable diagnosis, waiting for something that doesn't seem to be paying off, difficult relationships, or struggling financially, we all struggle. We all live in a world where it seems that these things Jesus talks about are happening around us constantly. We want to do what is right, and we still mess it up. We try to look on the bright side, but it feels like the light bulb has burned out. We feel like we do everything right and it still doesn't go our way. And yes, there are seasons of life that go better than others. We have a lot to be thankful for. Yes, when God created the world, he said it was good, but because of sin, we live in the midst of this struggle. And Jesus doesn't hide that from us. He doesn't pretend that life won't be hard. But not a hair of your head will perish. Because Jesus was born in a manger for you, not a hair on your head will perish. Though you will die, though this life will be a struggle at times, God sees and holds and cares for you through it all. And because Christ lives, you will live. Because Jesus lived in this world, not a hair on your head will perish. Though violence may surround you, though life is not fair, though the world seems to be crumbling, God has in store for you perfect peace. Because Jesus died on the cross, not a hair on your head will perish. Though struggles will come and faith will seem hard to come by, though you want all the answers and may get none, God will never leave or forsake you. Because Jesus rose from the dead, you will too. And not a hair on your head will perish. A new beginning is on its way. And in the midst of all the unknowns, hear the promise. God will never leave you or forsake you. Amen.